Hope this is working. All right. Shooting the Breeze, episode number 41, 2024 NFL Week 3 predictions. Already 3 weeks. We're into the third week of the NFL season, and it has been mayhem, mainly on the injury side. But we're here to provide some predictions. We're also on Fall Guys again. Last week on Shoot the Breeze, we're on Fall Guys. Had some very close chances to win, and then got screwed in some of those chances. So we're trying to undo our failures of last time and get a win this time around while providing some NFL predictions. I will say, though, it's strictly NFL predictions. I ain't got any other side topics. I apologize, but just wrestling-wise, nothing that dramatic happened this week that I feel the need to talk about. And even so we had SmackDown's debut on the USA, and almost anything that happened in that, I'll probably talk about my bad blood predictions in 2 weeks. Same thing could be said about Raw. There's a high chance that I talk about NXT on the CW, or as I will probably refer to it, the UPN, next week, because there's still a week buffer there, and I don't know how interested next week's NXT will be because of that week buffer before they're on the UPN. And probably some things could be talked about with AEW next week because it's Grand Slam and what happens there. And I will apologize because I said I was going to do a fantasy booking for AEW Wrestle Dream, and I didn't. I said I planned on it. I didn't say I was going to. I planned on it, but it's just I did not have a lot of fun with the suggestions that I had, and I didn't even want to really waste y'all's time with it. So I'm just going to skip out on it. It is what it is. But for those that are here for the NFL predictions, let's get right to them. Because I think I just messed up right there. I probably shouldn't have done that. This map gets difficult sometimes. The first game to talk about, the game tonight, Thursday Night Football, the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. The Jets got the win. Last week, the Patriots lost in overtime to the Seahawks. Please do not fall. Please do not fall. Alright, we should be good. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go with the Jets. I don't think... When Aaron Rodgers was traded here last year, I did not look at this team as a super team, but I feel a lot of insiders, and I guess, and I'm going to put this in quotations, the New York media looked at this as a super team, the best. I never really even looked at it like that. And especially with a year waiting and Rodgers coming off of a freaking major injury, I think people were expecting them to be a super team and holding them to this super team level. And they haven't looked like that the first 2 weeks. They obviously lost week 1 and looked pretty good in week 2. So, I like the Jets. I'm a Packers fan, so I've been used to watching Aaron Rodgers for the past 15-ish. I'm going to say 10-plus years just to... You can do the math however you want to, because 20 years ago might be a bit too early. Because it's close to 20 years, regardless. Next game, we have a weird batch of games this Sunday. It also, I will say, I have no clue what game I'll put in the thumbnail of the video. That's always important to me. Last week I chose Bills and Dolphins because that was the only graphic I could find at the time of making the thumbnail. Or this week I have no real clue. But the first game to talk about that was on the list is the New York Giants at the Cleveland Browns. I said there's a weird batch of games. There are 2 games. I think 3, actually. What was the other one? Who are the Jaguars playing? I'm trying to multitask and getting hit by this freaking... Who the Jags play? Because it was the Jaguar. Whoever the Jaguars were playing, I was like, oh boy. So I keep saying it over and over again, trying to stall and find... Oh, they're on Monday Night Football. I apologize. It's not the Jaguars. But the first game is the New York Giants at the Cleveland Browns. The Browns got their first win last week. The Giants came close, but obviously did not lose into the Commanders. I think I'm going to go with the Browns winning this game. And if chaos still is ensuing in New York, I would not be that surprised, as this is always the trickiest part. Actually, I think last time... Oh, boy, we got to hurry up, because I see the freaking surfboard going. As... I did a Jeff Hardy Swan Tunnel. I can't... You got to go early. I think with that, you got to go early. That way you don't get freaking caught up in all those people. But I'm going with the Browns. Next, Chicago Bears at Indianapolis Colts. Both teams lost in week 2. Kind of glad about... But I like the Colts. I like a lot of the players on the Colts team. But obviously, week 2, I needed them to lose. That way, the Packers won, obviously. And I'm going to hope that the momentum starts picking up for them in this game. They're going against a pretty good defense, so their offense is kind of... Both sides, actually, have kind of been struggling. But I think this is going to be the game where the Colts start picking it up, so I'm going to pick Indianapolis. As this next game should be very interesting, a good game. Houston Texans at the Minnesota Vikings. Both teams are undefeated at the moment. I'm going to pick the Texans. Would not be surprised if the Vikings won, but I think just the smart choice here is the Texans, as they're looking like, besides the Chiefs, the top team in the AFC. Now, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going against the hottest team in the NFL right now, the New Orleans Saints, who have put up 2 dominant performances. I even mentioned last week, I was like, I'm going to pick the Cowboys, but I expect the game to be a lot closer. And I was really leaning towards picking the Saints in that game, and obviously I was on the wrong side of that. So this time around, I'm going to say the same thing. I would not be surprised if the Eagles won this, but I'm picking the Saints. The Saints are at home. The Saints are on a roll. The Eagles have not looked like... They're kind of looking like their last... It's a blend in these first 2 games that have happened of when they were dominant and when they sucked. They've just having mishaps. They haven't really combined, or they don't even really need to combine their forces. They just need to go back to being a dominant team. And they've not done that yet, where the Saints, again, like I said, are on a roll and are at home. So I'm going to go with the Saints there. As now we got a battle of 2 more undefeated teams. This time around, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a bit impressed by the Chargers. Granted, their first 2 games were against the Raiders and Panthers. The Steelers, I haven't been impressed by. Like, week 1 was a great defensive show. I guess I could say both weeks were great defensive showings. But when you have a top-tier offense, an impressive offense, that's what makes the highlight reels and makes people think that you're a good team. And obviously, neither side has done that yet. There's a high chance that they don't, but so far, the 4 games these 2 teams have played, you get the point I was saying there. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I was trying to, I think everything would lean towards me picking the Steelers, but I'm talking myself into it and picking the Chargers to win this. I know that Herbert is a little bit injured, but I believe in Jay Herbo. I was trying to say, I almost made a Joe Hendry reference, which I probably could have made a better one, but I'm going with the Chargers. Spent a lot of time on the game. Broncos at Buccaneers. Going with the Buccaneers, the second hottest team in the NFC. They're very similar stories. And it is weird. You have to give some credit at the moment, because a lot of people were saying the NFC South sucked. Where right now, the 2 hottest teams, like I said, in the NFL are the Buccaneers and the Saints. They're both undefeated, and redemption stories for Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr. And the overall team has been both overall teams have been performing well. I'm trying to think. The Falcons are kind of in the middle, and the Panthers not even really in the conversation. So I'm giving kudos to the some teams in the NFC South. As now we'll get this freaking level again. We're going to concentrate. We're going to get it. Packers at Titans. I'm picking the Packers. I was happy that they won last week, obviously. I'm going to pick the Packers every freaking week. So next time around, we'll be picking Panthers at the Raiders. And it's going to be a weird sign, because I think the most notable NFL news this week outside of injuries is that Bryce Young is being benched, and people have been 50-50 on it because it's either the organization sucks or Bryce Young sucks. That's the two mindsets that I've seen with it. I think I would be in the mindset of in the middle a little bit, that way kind of neutral. But I do think there, if you just look at what the freaking Panthers have been providing the past several seasons, kind of leads more towards that side. Now, what I'm trying to get at with this prediction, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I don't know how many people would pick the Panthers. I'm gonna go with the Raiders, but this is one of those games where a change is happening. It won't be the same. Oh, y'all see that freaking bean fall? That was kind of funny and sad. So I'm gonna pick the Raiders, but if the Panthers won, I imagine it's because of the changes that are being made. As I got hit. All right, here we go. This is where we always screw up at. That is hilarious. That is effing hilarious. Concentrated on it and everything and made it way worse. Holy crap. I will also say that I was playing this before I started streaming, and I played like 3 games, and each game I had to freaking do tail tag, and I hate tail tag. I won one of them. I lost the other 2. I was like, I'm tired of freaking playing this level, so now they're swapping it with this one. This one isn't that difficult. I know I'm making it more difficult than it needs to be. So I'm going with the Raiders. Miami Dolphins, Seattle Seahawks. I've yet to call them the Supersonics yet, but at some point it will happen. I'm going to go with the Seahawks to win this. I don't know how much. I don't know what the hell to expect from the Dolphins. It's very Tua being out, hopefully get well soon. I should have said that, probably started with that. But get well soon to Tua. I don't know what the hell to expect from this team. And even with Tua playing, it wasn't like the most electrifying team that we've been seeing to start the last 2 seasons. So it kind of was like, a messed up thing. And it was hilarious because last week in my predictions, I was like, the Dolphins and Bills kind of go back and forth in their games. And then, like, me saying that and realizing, I'm like, the Dolphins have only beat them, like, once recently. And I mainly keep thinking about that game because I was watching that game live, and it was a crazy game. That was the butt punt, and I think that was the most notable thing that happened in that game. But the Dolphins still won it. So I was trying to, like, relay their rivalry in recent games to that one game and saying, like, I'm going to give the Dolphins a chance. And then I came to the realization I should pick the Bills because they've actually won more games recently and whatnot, and they're the somewhat better team. But I'd already wrote in pen the Dolphins, so I could not backtrack that. So this time around, I've already picked the Seahawks and marked the Seahawks to win. So I'm going there. And it definitely is not a good sign to have the Seahawks 3-0. Next, I think an underrated, exciting game. The Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. I picked the Cardinals last week, and I didn't even remember doing that. I would like to pick them again, but I think the Lions The Lions at some point need to get. I'm not even going to really say that, but at some point I expect the Lions to be more sharp and play like they were last season. Now, if they don't, ain't the worst thing in the world, but it's just they've had a lot of sloppiness over the first 2 games. Where the Cardinals last week, you can't really say that because they dominated that whole game. And again, this is one of those games. This is the last time I say it. The last time I said it this episode. The Cardinals won this game. I wouldn't be that shocked, but already picked the Lions. I'm going that route. As this next game to talk about, probably the game that will be in the thumbnail. The game that will cause the most toxicity out of any this week. That being the Baltimore Ravens at the Dallas Cowboys, because the Cowboys got smashed last week by the Saints. And the Ravens, in a game that they were very close to winning, lost to the Raiders. And nobody really expected that. And they are 0-2. So you can't really start the season 0-3 with the big offseason acquisition of Derrick Henry and having the MVP, the last year MVP Lamar Jackson on the team, because then a lot of worry will come. And if the Cowboys lose, anytime the Cowboys lose, they hear it. Granted, I don't really care what they hear, but with the Ravens, I love Lamar. I love Derrick Henry, so I don't like that happening for them. I'm going to go with the Ravens to win. I'm going to hopefully manifest that for them, as I do have Lamar and Mark Andrews on my fantasy teams. And luckily enough, the fantasy team that I have Mark Andrews on, I also have Isaiah Likely. So whatever is needed, I could put one of those two at the tight end position. So now we have 49ers at Rams. As much as I would like to pick the Rams to win, the 49ers normally beat the Rams. Both sides are dealing with significant injuries, but I'm going to go with the 49ers. So now we are at Sunday Night Football. Should be very entertaining Sunday Night Football game. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Atlanta Falcons. This is one of those games where I think everyone's going to pick the Chiefs, and I'm going to be different and pick the Falcons and be hopeful that what they accomplished on Monday Night Football carries over. Granted, I don't think it will because it's the Chiefs, and I've picked against them. I picked against them week 1. I did not week 2. I was very close to doing it, but did not. But I'm going to go with the Falcons. There's no real rhyme or reason. Just to be different from everybody else, I guess, is the actual real reason. As now we have a double header on Monday Night Football. Why exactly? I don't know, but I'm not going to question it. Oh my goodness. Got a lot left. Come on, bro. 4%? Alright, we should be good right here. Nope, because I did not get off the spin. Okay, that sucks. I'm normally good at this level. That sucks. That sucks. We got the 2 Monday Night Football games. This is the other team. So, the teams that are in panic mode right now. Let's do a little ranking. I think Ravens are at the top of the list because they're the best team that has not won a game yet. I'm going to put the Bengals at second because, I don't know. They're very neck and neck. And I do not have my phone on me right now, but I think they play very soon. They might play next. I think they either play next week or soon. They obviously will play each other twice because we're in the same division. But I remember looking at the Ravens start, and I was like, they got a tough schedule to start the season. Regardless, I think the Ravens are at 1. 2, the Bengals. 3, Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville, people anticipated to be a good team based on what they did the past 2 seasons, and they are just crapping all over themselves. I think 4 and 5 could be interchangeable between the Giants and Panthers just because they've been very bad and people were expecting them to be I was about to lie. I was about to tell a straight lie. Say people were expecting them to be very good, but make some progression. And for the Panthers, they haven't done that. The Giants, they were in a close game, but it was a very sloppy game against the Commanders. What I'm trying to get at, the Jaguars need they need this win to get on the right track. But the Bills have been very good and dominant and are at home. I'm going with the Bills to win this. Josh Allen, I will also say, I never did NFL award predictions. I'm not as much as an NFL expert as I would say I'm a wrestling and NBA expert. So that's why I didn't do it. But I think Josh Allen is one of the top players to have on them. Besides Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield, I think Josh Allen would have been my preseason prediction. Because in the NBA, there's always narratives. And so I think in the NFL, it's not as much as it is in the NBA. But I think the narrative of like his top wide receiver leaving him and him potentially leading this team back to the playoffs and just it very much having to rely on himself a lot more and carry the team. I think Josh Allen would have been in my preseason NFL MVP. And as of right now, I'm going to keep him that way because they're still 2-0, and I predicted them to go 3-0. So our last game to talk about is the Washington Commanders at the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a must-win for the Bengals. I'm going to go with them to win this. And the main comment I've said about the Bengals is just like, it feels like non-football related reasons are the reason they're not winning football games, whether it be injury or more so what's more talked about is contract and money-wise things. They were so close to winning against the Chiefs, and I saw the pass interference flag happen. I'm like, come on. Like, and even Joe Burrow was thinking that as well because he threw his helmet down. But they're just right there. They were right there. So it is what it is. So those are my NFL Week 3 predictions. Jets, Browns, Colts, Texans, Saints, Chargers, Buccaneers, Packers, Raiders, Seahawks, Lions, Ravens, 49ers, Falcons, Bills, and Bengals. Week 1 we went 8-16. Week 2 went 10-16. So it was a +2 improvement. You obviously want a perfect one. I was looking at last season's notes. There was 1 week I went 14-16. That was the closest I got. So you obviously want a perfect one. And I think I'm going to get at least one this season. Like I said, I don't think there's anything else really to talk about wrestling-wise because most of the news and things I'll be talking about next week. So I will say this while we got some free time. About to film my Mom at GM. And so y'all will be seeing this before it's filmed and before it's obviously uploaded. I am in a pickle because I do not know what to do in our title scene. Because we wrapped up our rivalry with Kurt Angle and Chad Gable and Seth Rollins and Ricky Steamboat. And everybody else that is on the roster besides The Rock and the other two, okay, I should expect that, are in rivalries. So I don't really know what to do. I think what I'm going to end up... I think plan A is that I'm going to do The Rock and Kurt Angle in a rivalry for the world title. And then do Seth Rollins versus... Oh, come on. Yes, yeah, we're right here. No way! Are you kidding me? I can't. Alright, we gotta get right here. Alright, nobody else is near us. Should be 2 right here. I think we're gonna do Rock and Kurt Angle, and then Rollins inserts himself in the LA Knight Bobby Roode rivalry with the potential, and then doing Chad Gable versus Ricky Steamboat, because we could not get any trades done. I don't know what the hell that noise was, but it sounded like a freaking duck quacking right in my ear. So I'm just thinking out loud in advance. Because we got this month, and then the month after is WrestleMania. And I have no clue what our big WrestleMania match is going to be for this season. That's going to be a wait and see. Talk about some other things while we get the free time. Been working on a rough draft of a schedule. NBA-related videos will be returning in October because I need to do my stand-in predictions, my award predictions, and I don't know when they'll do it, but hopefully they've done it every year, so me planning on them doing it, hopefully they do the annual GM survey, and I plan on answering my answer or providing my answers to it because I did it last year and had a lot of fun, so I have no clue when they'll actually do it, but long story short, NBA related videos October. Because I do not own NBA 2K20. Okay, that screwed us because we were in the lead. That should not have touched me. Okay, right here. It's about to get messy. Yep, alright. I need that fish. I don't know if that's supposed to be Nemo or not. He missed. There's no way. Come on. All right. It is what it is. We're like 3rd place. If that even counts. I don't really think it does. Anything else to note to talk about? I think we're just going to be strictly NFL notes this week. So, I also won't lie to you. I did not feel the best. So, I was trying to get this up and Adams. So, I do thank y'all for watching this. Hopefully you like it. And subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one because I'm out for now. Bye-bye.